Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching us from the rest of the world. My name is Alexandra, your host with the mostest. Welcome to Uganda at Crossroads. As you know, this whole week has been hectic. It's been massive. So many things have been happening in Uganda. So many things have been happening around Uganda. So many things have been happening on our borders, and everything that's been going on. You've been reading the newspapers just like I've been. You've been online watching all the stories just like I have been. But for now, we're bringing two people who are going to talk to us more about what is happening. They're going to give us an in-depth of really what is really happening in Uganda, and they're giving us a little more explanation. If you're an ordinary individual like I am and you don't know the politics, you don't know the science of what's going on in regards to our government, in regards to the governing of Uganda, in regards to everything that's happening in Kampala, around Kampala, in Jinja, Parliament, everything. If you're like me and you're out there watching us, well, this is the right show for you. You've come to the right place. Just like me, you want to know what's happening. Just like me, you want to, get involved. And just like me, you want to see how you can, help change Uganda for the better. That's why we bring your daily, your regular hosts for the week, or my co-guests. That's why we bring them every weekend so they can talk to you and give you an in-depth explanation of what is happening. You have met them before. We have Hillary and we have Sarah in the house. You guys enjoy them. You guys listen to them every weekend. You make them part of your routine every single Saturday. So we brought them here again so that they can, tell you what's been happening, tell you how you can analyze everything, tell you what's been going on. So give me a few minutes so they can introduce themselves, they can talk about why they're here, how, in what capacity they're talking to us, and then we can continue to the show. Guys, I'm so glad you always wake up every morning and come and, sit on my couch every day and talk to people. So I'm glad you give me your weekend every single week. So how have you guys been?
Good.
We're doing good.
Hillary, you're not confident?
All right. No, okay. We're doing good. Yes, I'm exceedingly humbled and honored to be hosted again on this wonderful talk show, Uganda at Crossroads. My name is Hillary Innocent Taylor Seguya, and I'm a global youth ambassador with an organization called the World at School. I'm also doing my master's at Harvard in International Relations. I'm concerned about the status quo in my country as a young leader, as a youth leader, and as a concerned citizen. I would like to see the current status quo changing, because we are tired of tyranny in our country, and I believe it's the right time now to remove dictator General Kaguta Museveni and get the new president of our country. So I'm always here for conversation to see how we can create an environment that is, bring a transition that is going to be peaceful for all Ugandans to have better livelihoods.
Sarah?
Hello, good afternoon everyone, and I know it's night in some parts of the world.
Yes.
And some parts it's the morning, but we are always pleased to be here every Saturday to talk about the happenings in Uganda. It's always interesting. It's a movie theater. Every now and then something new unfolds. So we're glad to be here to break through and digest and give opinion and of what is happening in Uganda and see where we go further from this.
All right. If you're watching us online, please, I'm going to just ask you to share the page, love on us, call somebody to watch with you, share, follow, like us on Facebook, everywhere. We are on YouTube as well. Our videos go to YouTube. They're uploaded every other week. So please make sure you share those videos every single time. You can always follow us on Facebook, on Instagram and YouTube. Now, Sarah and Hillary, because we've talked about all these topics for the last few weeks, let's go back to the issue of Lusanja. 2 kids died earlier on this week because of what happened in Lusanja. Please shed some more light on what is happening, what is the government doing, who is coming out to speak about this tragedy, and what can we do moving forward?
Lusanja was really absurd, and from the information basically we got from people who have been on ground, this is not the first child. These are not the first children to die from Lusanja. Kids have been dying of malaria, kids have been dying of so many other things. And it was so absurd that a pit latrine that was not covered up properly had to take 2 young lives, just like that. But you take it back to, you take it back from the beginning where, it was brought to us that, the eviction were illegal. And people are suffering out of an illegal eviction, out of an eviction that was supposed to be done on another property, not this particular property.
That's true.
And it is. We saw the president come into this area when this had just happened, and he made promises as usual, and then walked away, and nothing has been done. We saw in the beginning people had been given a little food to eat. Now I don't know how they managed to survive because. But it's really so absurd to see young people are dying. Government, I think government for this issue, it would be 100% responsible because they evicted wrong people from a piece of land that were not meant to be evicted. And then we have such instances, plights are happening to these people. Young children are dying. We've seen mothers give birth in terrible conditions. And government is quiet. I would expect in this question, I would expect even the minister in charge of the youth to come up. I don't know if she was scared. We only saw opposition members of parliament and MPs in the area come up to say something to the people. But it is really sad. And again, going back to Ugandans, this is where we are going. It is, we are going to continue emphasizing and saying because you serve a government that does not even care about its citizens.
That's true. Hillary,
yes, also to add on what Sarah said, this clearly shows you where this government is taking us, because it's showing us that this government has one goal, to ensure that Ugandans live as refugees in their own country. But for how long as Ugandans are we going to tolerate this nonsense of President Museveni?
That's true.
Because if he evicted our brothers and sisters from their houses, and now they are living in tents, like refugees, like they're in IDP camps, then I think as Ugandans, this should be a wake-up call, because nobody should die in such a reckless manner like that. Because when you lose the children, these are, they were supposed to be the future generation. So losing 2 young children, this is so absurd. And we've seen that the government has also neglected these people who were evicted, because you see that the ministry that is in charge of people who are living in disasters, actually that's under the office of the Prime Minister. They've not been helping these people. Because on several accounts we've seen it's Bobby Wine who's trying to take their iron sheets to ensure that he gives them shelter. But again, the government has failed to first of all give them pit latrines, because today we are living in a rainy season. And again, because recently we had the outbreak of cholera, and cholera shows that it's a sign of poor hygiene, which is so sad. So if people are getting access to such poor living conditions, then very many people are going to get sick, and they have no medication, because you see that if these kids were sick and they couldn't access the cost of the treatment, then it's so absurd, because the government, in other words, would be at the front line to give treatment to these children, and because the government is responsible for all the lives of Ugandans, regardless of our age. So the government is so accountable, and I would love to see the parents of these 2 children suing the government of Uganda, because if we don't sue the government to get justice, then this impunity, this level of craziness with this government of Mr. Museveni is going to go ahead. So the family needs justice, and also, however much we don't trust our our courts, but let's see how it goes, because this is a very sensitive issue.
My issue is right now I don't want to take the government to task as a whole. I want us to point out names and say who is responsible for this. This is supposed to be someone else's duty. Just like if anything happened in, let me give an example, because we're in the United States, we're in Boston. If anything happened, we're going to call Trump on it. If anything happened in our constituents, we're going to call our governor by name. So who's the person we're supposed to be calling out by name right now? Who's supposed to be responsible for Lusanja?
For the last 3 decades, that person to task. Land grabbing has been a very big issue in our country. is that each part of the country you go to, there's the issue of land grabbing. And again, the president has tried to come out to say that now he's trying to dissolve the issue of land grabbing, but he has failed. He has tried to put different land commissions, but again, they're not prioritizing the people who are in need. So I would expect the land commission led by Justice Bamgemelere prioritize the issue of these people of Lusanja. But again, you see the lady is focusing on other people. So that they are focusing on the big or the rich people, and they're neglecting the poor people. So if you're a peasant or you're a poor person, they will be thinking of you last. Because you see, recently, Bamgemelere with her commission, they went to Mbuya to follow the land wrangles of the Uganda Kingdom. But again, why can't we also give justice to the poor people? Is Uganda for only the rich people and not the poor people? So I think the president is the primary, the primary person that we should blame. Then from there we can go to the local government or local leaders to see if they were conniving with the police or not. But again, it shows you also that our systems are rotten because it's a syndicate. So that the government is also to blame. Then again, you see, when it goes to the courts, because they're the ones that issue the court orders, they're going to also connive with the police. The police that gives security to those guys who are going to break the houses of these people. So it's crazy. It's crazy. I think, but for me, I will blame the government because they've given us weak positions on this incident, and they've failed to help our brothers and sisters to get better livelihoods than they had before.
From everyone here watching us, from the Uganda Crossroads team, we want to extend our condolences to those people who lost the family that lost their 2 children this earlier on this week. We are sorry that is happening. If there is any way we can help, if you are in Lusanja right now, please feel free, and you're watching us on live, feel free to just, talk to us. Tell us what's going on. We communicate with us. If there's anything we can do, if there's any way we can extend any kind of help, I think Hillary and Sarah and my production team will be more than willing to pitch in any way. So we do understand this is happening, and we're trying to bring as much light to this issue as possible. But we are only human. We can only do so much. So if there's anything that we can do in regards to helping the people in Lusanja, this has been such a big issue. I know Sarah is very passionate about it because it was something that she was really close to her heart. So if there is anything that you think you guys can add on or help us with, we are more than willing to stand by you and stand with you in regards to that. So again, our condolences go out to the family that lost, the families that have lost their children. This is not the first incident. But everyone who's suffering out there, whether you're sick and you're hungry, you don't have a place to stay, or you're suffering, or you have lost children in this instant, in this case, we feel for you, and we're here in case you need anything. So reach out to us. Everyone who's watching us online, thank you so much. I do have Evelyn Namusoke, who's our resident production team, is part of our production team. Thank you for watching. Andrew Paul Chizito, thank you so much. Florence Kobosinje, yes, we are. It's going to be one of our topics that we're going to be talking about. You are inquiring about the MTN executives being deported, and yes, that's a big issue, and we want these 2 guys beside me to keep watching, to keep talking to you. Dalius UG is saying, Kweli, Uganda yafe, we should call the president. Andrew Andy is saying, Hillary, you're very smart today. So John Samba is saying, guys, we all know that those people, what those people need. Hillary, take the lead and donate some dollars. All right, so let's go on into the next issue. We want to talk about this. Lusanja is such a big issue, so we will always handle it and always talk about it every single time. Now let's go into what has been happening again in this week. Because this is something that Sarah is so very good at, let me start with her. Sarah, this week we had BSCJ, starting something. Uganda has been active for the last 2 years. It's always on everyone's lips. I've never seen a country be as active as Uganda is right now. We are not spreading any good. We're just there. Everyone is talking about us. So people power is something that has happened. It's a big issue. Everyone is talking about this. Now, People's Congress. I want to understand what that is, why it was started, what is the basis of why BSCJ started this group, this cabinet, and why does it still want to stay relevant? Like, take me through, walk me through what is happening.
I'm still also confused because I'm like, BSCJ breaking away from FDC because he's one of the founding members of FDC, but he's no longer the president. Is he forming his own party just like Mugisha Muntu did? And I see I've seen people like, because for the last 1 year plus, we've seen Lukwago walking in the armpits of Besigye for even from the previous elections, supporting him, and Lukwago is DP. So as he left DP, because right now, as you see, DP has been moving around the country trying to consolidate and bring back its members. So it's as they try to bring back some members, are they losing some key members like Lukwago into the new assembly called the People Assembly? I'm looking at the People Assembly, and when you see, I've seen Besigye with he has always been with One Uganda, One People. It's the same again as you know, when you put it together, people's power. But People's Assembly for me looks like he's trying to get into it's more or less like people power. And then my issue comes in because I've had talks with some people who have said, okay, I know they've been talking to Bobby Wine, but I know Bobby Wine did not want to get into something he doesn't understand or what people don't approve of. But for me, I'm looking at this as a comeback. Dr. Besigye is looking for a comeback because definitely FDC may not endorse him to stand as president because he has done it so many times. The only way now you want to come back in 2016 is form this assembly, call it People's Assembly, and come back and appear on the ballot again. We should not take it away from Dr. Besigye. He has done a tremendous good job. But if Dr. Besigye, for the 5-6 times he has been running, if he cannot give another person a chance, what makes him different from Museveni?
That's true.
It doesn't make him any different from Museveni. And that's when I call to everyone who is an activist, people who want change. We need real, when we want change, we do not want change. We don't want to give change for people who have been, the cause is the same, but he has tried a number of times. We need to try something new. We need to try something new. So for me, I'm looking at it as a political, and I know maybe he's going to stand alongside. He has taken up, we've seen people like Namboze, we've seen people like Lukwaga among the people in this assembly. And I know maybe they are trying maybe talk to Bobby Wine to join them. But at this point in time, we've seen Ugandans across borders, across even Ugandans at home. Ugandans, we want someone new. We want someone fresh. We want someone with no military background. We need something fresh.
Someone who doesn't have all that history, all that pent-up anger.
We've had issues come up, even when you've seen elections come up, or Museveni claiming he knows Besigye, they claim they know each other. It's not that Besigye is bad, no. But Besigye has run over 5 times. Let's give someone new a chance. Because for me, what I'm saying is that we see Besigye in 2021 coming back under People's Assembly, under dividing the opposition vote. Because then it's going to become Besigye, Museveni, and Bobby Wine. So why do you divide? And I'm telling you, if you go into, if Bobby Wine doesn't win that vote, he's going to be either, if he doesn't, he will be second. But I want him to win the vote.
Yep. So Hillary, tell me this. We have had so many incidences where we say, yes, maybe Besigye supports Bobby Wine, or Besigye is behind People Power, Besigye is behind the movement of People Power. Why is it so hard for him to actually back? Are we seeing a case where he will never support Bobby Wine in whatever he does? I don't know if I'm putting my point across very well. What I'm saying, why is it so hard for him to actually just acknowledge that, you know what, just like Museveni has been running for so long, that's just what you have said. Why is it taking him why is he not acknowledging that, you know what, I've reached the point where right now, let me use my influence, let me use my power, my know-how to support somebody who's doing something? Why doesn't he just pick out of all the people who are running right now, who look to be potentials, why doesn't he just say, you know what, let me pick up, maybe let me back this person? Why is it so hard for him to actually just, back down and support somebody? Yes, what is going on?
Besigye's move is going to give people like different perspectives depending on who is analyzing it. But for me, I will see it in different ways. Because towards the end of the year, if you had the press conference Besigye had in his house, at his house in Kasangati with other people from the opposition league, he was telling us that 2019 is going to be a year of action. So we want to see that the opposition is very active in the political environment of our country.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, as a nation, as majority of Ugandans who are oppressed by the minority, we want to see a fundamental change in our country. And again, you see, coming up with the People's Assembly, I think he's getting some inspirations from somewhere. If you've been following international events in a country called Venezuela, just recently, the international community said that they are backing up the opposition leader, that's Juan Guaido. So they are saying they are done with Nicolas Maduro because he has been, oppressing people's human rights and, he was doing different things that were against the international law. So right now, the international community is saying we recognize Juan Guaido as the president of Venezuela. We don't know Nicolas Maduro anymore. Now it comes back to to Besigye. I think he also got some inspiration that maybe I can also put my People's Assembly there to be, because we know it as a matter of fact that for the last 3 presidential elections, Dr. Kanokiza Besigye has been defeating Mr. Museveni. So Mr. Museveni has been rigging elections. At the end, in the last few hours, you just see results changing. And you wonder what happened. Was it a miracle or magic? So I think as the opposition, for me, I wouldn't be so quick to judge the actions of Kanokiza Besigye because we haven't seen also what are the strategies of the ideologies of, the strategies of our ideology of people power movement, because ours is also a pressure group. And I believe that we as a nation today, we need to have different pressure groups in order to suppress this government, to chase away the government of Mr. Museveni. So if DP is maybe in the west, people power is in the east, maybe FDC in the central, and maybe UPC in the north. We are working as a force. At the end of the day, we are going to defeat General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who has led us badly for the last 33 years. And again, the only thing I see, the cabinet was not effective because you could see that there were also some weaknesses in his cabinet, because we are saying that we want to decrease the size of the cabinet. But again, Besigye made a mistake because he has over 30 people, about 30 people on his cabinet. So if we are saying that we are fighting big cabinets, we want to reduce it to about maybe 20 ministers or 15 ministers, because here, look at the cabinet of USA, a country that has over 300 million people. We have less than 30 ministers. But a country that has about 40 million people in Uganda, we have over 80 ministers. What for? We are wasting taxpayers' money. So again, if you look at also the People's Assembly of Dr. Kizza Besigye, his cabinet lacks lots of things. You see that, I've only seen a few youth who are put on his cabinet. I don't know how effective it's going to work or when it's going to operate. But again, we have to analyze which criteria did he use. Again, you see Erias Lukwago, the Lord Mayor, being given the position of Vice President. So with Lukwago, with his integrity, with his experience, I think it was even a mistake to put him on that position of Vice President. Because look at Sekandi, what is Sekandi doing right now as a Vice President? He's doing nothing, just going and makes, he just goes to events. It's just ceremonial.
His name, he's just a name.
Yes, go to the AU summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, go to US, go to China, go to Malaysia. That's the work of the Vice President. He's doing nothing. Look at the former Vice President, Gilbert Bukenya. What was he doing? Totally nothing. Because for the President, Mr. Museveni, he believes that the power belongs to him. I would expect maybe Kano Kizza Besigye to maybe put Erias Lukwago in a position like the Prime Minister. Because with the Prime Minister, you're the head of government business. And with his experience, he can easily run the government business of the People's Assembly. But again, I don't know how it's going to work. But again, as Sarah was telling you, we have to question the timing of Kizza Besigye's, assembly. Why now? Why can't we unite as the opposition, as Sarah was saying, and we make one force to defeat our enemy? Because we are saying we've given Kano Kizza Besigye 4 chances to become the president of our country, and he has failed us. So today, the dynamics of our politics have changed.
Yep.
And we believe that the young people are going to contribute highly to the change of our country. So if we have a young leader who is appealing to all generations in our country, and you are not siding with him, then it raises eyebrows to people who believe in the ideologies of the people power movement. So
can I chip in?
Oh, sure.
You finish up. Then
yeah, you can.
No, you know, to take it away from what you said, for me, the intentions, because if the intention is to create a number of pressure groups in the country, that is really good. But for me, what I do not want to see are people creating groups that are going to appear on about. Like it's more or less like changing faces and saying that in 2021 I'm not coming as FDC, I'm coming as People's Assembly. For me, you've not done anything. It's just you're wearing another face. And for me, that makes you another opposition dictator. Why don't you give chance to other people? Because that's the biggest thing in politics. That's what people suffer. Yeah. You find even opposition leaders, they don't want to languish their positions. Exactly. And they're complaining that Museveni is staying in power, has refused to leave power for a long time. But you've been in parliament for maybe 5 terms. Why aren't you giving a chance? You mean in your constituency there are no potential people who have the zeal, the energy to come and represent their people? And you see what is happening right now. You have a generation of 75% young people. We need someone young. We need crazy ideas. We need to try and fail. Because everything that is in book right now has failed. Everything that has been written. There are so many programs that the government has put up, but they've been failed to implement. We want someone fresh. We want we want people to explore, open up ideas, whatever they have to do, whether they fail, we try again. But here, very nice ideas, nothing has been done, nothing has been tried. Dr. Besigye, we don't take it away from him, very nice manifesto. He has tried 4 times. We want to see another face.
Given that he has been around for so long and he has seen the ups and downs of every political party, he knows that all this, he knows the ups and downs and everything.
Even the dynamic.
What does he think that the People's Assembly is going to change? How is it going to be different from all the other political parties who have the same intentions? What is he thinking that he can change? I want to know what...
Just like the pressure groups are good. Because if his pressure group is... Because all pressure groups that are fighting the sitting government, their role is to make the public or Ugandans understand that we need to see change in this country. But the problem from this, I do not know whether his pressure group is going to translate in him appearing on the ballot. If Lukwago is to appear onto the ballot at the end of the day, I wouldn't mind. I want to send you first. But at the same time, why are we dividing votes? Because at this point in time, elections are won by numbers. So if you're going to divide the opposition votes, when you have someone who is strong, who is supported by the young, the old, I've seen video clips of old women excited. Why are you dividing the vote? Because I think at this point, if people are intending, because I do not, you see, what I see from most of these opposition leaders is they are more looking at Honorable Kyagulanyi as one, they're looking at him as an outsider, someone who has come from completely another field to this, and they're overwhelmed by the support he has gotten. But what has happened, they've failed to understand that Honorable Kyagulanyi has risen at a time when Uganda is so desperate for change. He has risen at a time when you have so many young people, 75% of Ugandans have not seen another president. He has risen at a time when there is huge unemployment among the youth. Young people want to work.
That's true.
He has risen at a time when so many young people resonate with him. They've seen him get from zero to where he is right now. Some of these, because when you look at Besigye, when you ask the young people where is Besigye coming from, we know he was in the army. We do not know his story. So many young people relate with Bobi Wine because they understand his story and they know it. Sure. We've seen him coming, staying in the ghetto and rising up. Here, at this point in time, people are not looking at who understands the best politics, who has fought so much. We want to see change, and we want to see someone who is willing and ready to work for the common person.
Yes, let's add on what Sarah said. You see, if you look at the history of our country since 1962, when we got our independence, you see that we've been led for many years by military guys.
Yeah.
So if you get Obote 1, then you get Obote 2, then you get Idi Amin Dada, then you get Mr. Museveni, and you combine all those years, Ugandans can tell you in one voice that, yes, we are tired of the military rule. So we want a civilian to become a leader, and we see how things can move forward in our country. And as Sarah was telling you something that was imperative, that politics is about numbers. So the more we work in segmented ways, then the easier it will be for NRM to defeat us come 2021. So we need to amalgamate our forces at the end of the day and to ensure that we enter the State House. We don't want to use any violent means because people will say, I've had people who are telling, different groups on social media that we, the people affiliated to the ideologies of People Movement, People Power Movement, we are hooligans. I think that rhetoric is wrong because I've not seen any hooligan in our group of People Power. For us, what we want, we know what we want. That's number one, fundamental change. And we can get it. So we've seen very many military officers, trying to scare us that there's no way you can defeat a military man when you're a civilian. But they are forgetting that also in 1985, Obote was telling Museveni the same thing. Where is that young man without generals who thinks he can become president? Little did Obote know that in 1986, Museveni will become the president of Uganda. That's true. So these General Eli Tumwines, who are speaking with a lot of arrogance because they are in the army, the minister, Anite, who says that we have the Majay, they have the army, they think that they're going to intimidate each and every one. Recently, you saw also the lady who heads SFC, Navasa. She was saying that there is no way they can give up, they can give up Uganda like that, someone who's going to threaten peace. So they're trying to create a scenario that Uganda is at stake, that maybe there is a rebel group that is coming from diaspora. So they think that we who are in diaspora, we want to overthrow the government. We are planning a military coup to overthrow this incumbent government of dictator Museveni. But these are sentiments they're using, and we are telling them that just be ready for change. For change. Change is inevitable. However much you say what, change is coming. And again, let's line up behind Bobi Wine because he has a clear vision for our country. And Bobi Wine told us before that we shall see them by their actions. Right? Yes. So right now, we are seeing the actions of different opposition leaders. Are they on our side, or they're trying to do each and everything possible to divide us more? True. So Bobi Wine is a genius because he foresaw lots of things. And if you go to his very many, speeches he was giving, you see that the events he was talking about, they're happening today. So for me, it doesn't surprise me to see Kano Kizza Besigye panicking like this, because at the end of the day, you're going to ask yourself a question. Who is the head of FDC? Where is Poa Amriat? Because right now you may think Besigye is the head of FDC. Amriat is silent. Yeah. So as a party of FDC, they're also divided than before. True, that's right, yeah. So they failed to unite as a party. And then now, if you see also DP, because right now you see Elias Lukwago is more working with Kano Kizza Besigye. You see Namboze, she's not siding with what Mao is saying. And Mao with the Mabikes and this guy of agriculture, what's his name, is pastor. He was once a presidential candidate. He talks a lot about agricultural reforms. Bwanika. Yes, if you look at Bwanika, Bide, and also Mao, they tried to unite the party. But Nambos and Lukwago said, no, we're doing something different. So the opposition is divided. And as Sarah has told you that it's time also to put pressure on opposition leaders who are overstayed in power to say enough is enough, step aside, and bring a new generation of young leaders with new ideas. That's true. Because let them embrace what Kantutu is doing. Because Kantutu said this is his last term. But you see, Kantutu is still young. He can run for more, terms. If he wanted, yeah. But he said the time is now. Look at this guy called, is it Mbotekama? He also said, I'm not coming back. So can we have more opposition leaders telling us the same
thing.
that the enough is enough?
We
Where is
need them.
Odonga Oto? Say enough is enough. Ken Luchamzi, maybe it was the pressure from the group of Katoluwama that said, no, we are tired of Ken Luchamzi. But look at the Cecilia Ogwaus. They've been in parliament for years and years.
For too long, we have
yes,
had
From the previous government.
Yes.
Yep.
So it's high time we say that enough is enough as opposition leaders who have overstayed in power. Create the vacuum for new leaders, for mainly young leaders, because now we want leaders who are going to prioritize the issues of youth. Because today, the youth of Uganda are the main issue. Because Uganda is the second youngest population, has the second youngest population in the world after Niger. So this raises questions, because if today we don't have a youth policy in our country, and the president has failed deliberately to implement a youth policy, so how are you going to empower young people without a youth policy?
That's true.
There is no way. So for countries who are working on youth issues, the first step they did is to ensure that they implement a youth policy. Our country has failed, and the president has deliberately failed. So as Ugandans, mainly the young people, because this is the time whereby we have to rise up and say enough is enough to President Museveni. We are tired of tyranny. We want a new leader who is going to reform our country, and we want to see a Uganda that will be, for each and everyone. And time will come, we shall say that, Uganda is the pearl of Africa again, because we can't say it anymore.
All right.
And before you take it up, take it away, I just wanted to address one of the things you mentioned. You've had cases where they are calling many young people hooligans, especially young people supporting people power.
People power.
What they are using a wrong word. Actually, what they should be talking about. You're calling them, these young people are not hooligans. These are young people who are desperate for jobs. These are young people, they've been to school, gotten degrees, first class degree, second class degree, they cannot even find a cleaning job. These are young people who they are not seeing light at the end of the tunnel. These are young people who are angry. They sleep with no food, they see no future, because let me tell you one thing, what would take someone with a degree to go and work in Arab countries as a maid? Desperation. From seeing what is happening. You mean these young people are not seeing what has been happening in countries like Saudi Arabia, in countries like Kuwait and all those countries? They see, but the desperation of thinking, okay, if it happens to so and so, maybe I will be lucky. These young people are desperate. The desperation. I've seen some people saying, oh, people on social media, they are abusing. It is the anger. It is you do not know what it means to be in your 20s, in your early 30s, but you're seeing no light at the end of the tunnel. You have all these big dreams, but all your dreams are shattered. Yep. I'm telling you, people develop anger. I wouldn't be surprised if you have one of the most depressed countries in the world as Uganda. People, you do not know what it means. People have lost hope. People have lost hope. That's why you see young girls are moving to Saudi Arabia to be maids, because they've lost hope.
They would rather go and suffer the consequences.
They would rather go, if I'm lucky, then I'm going to be lucky. But if you're going to continue to call people hooligans, when they are desperate for jobs, when they can't find food, when they have no clothes, when they have no basic needs, when the prices of gas are almost shooting to 5,000, when there are no roads, when there are no services, when the folks are not able to get medication in the hospitals, then what you're doing, you are, tomorrow, this is a timing bomb. Tomorrow, this timing bomb, without no one even pressing a pin on it, is going to burst. You are going to have an uprising in Uganda with so many young people determined to die and not caring, because when people are so desperate, they don't have anything to live
They don't have anything to lose right now at this point.
They have nothing to lose. They have nothing to live for. Then they would rather be there.
And that's the worst. You don't want a person who has been, they have nothing to lose. They're the worst, they're the most dangerous kind of person.
You have now a biggest population of Ugandans, especially young people who are educated, they have no jobs. Young people who have dreams, they have nothing to do. Young people who have failed to find a job, who have failed to find medical services, who have given up on life. You have that lot of Ugandans that are growing on a daily basis.
Yep.
They have nothing to lose because they have nothing.
We have Jenna Bulia is saying we can even undress if it's the only way to show that we're tired.
Exactly.
Muzamil Nkunda is saying, under my dead body, Bobby Wine will never be a president of Uganda. We shall shed blood, but no hooligan will disturb our peace. Lynette Sandra is saying, I'm here with my degree in Chiyumba. We really need change. And we also have Lynette Sandra is saying, opposition has been making money out of us. Helen Joram is saying, BSCJ thinks that this is his one and only, that he's the only one who can control opposition, but that's out. He should resign and leave everything to your young leaders. And that's Bobby Wine, no matter what they say. Bobby Wine, we love him and he's our president. Before I finish, Elizabeth Odoya is saying, we want young, fresh, sober-minded parliament this time around. And then we also have Frida Sebalu is saying, new wine for new wineskins. And before we finish, BSCJ should toka kwa bara Bobby Wine anaingia.
Exactly.
And before you go off this, I'm encouraging everyone out there, young people, at this point in time, you don't need to have money. Go, if you really, really want to get into parliament. I saw this musician who paraded his results and wants to unseat Katolubwam.
Yeah.
Please start mobilizing. Katolubwam has been useless in this parliament. He told us he has gone into it. And I think for one term, Katolubwam has gathered enough money to take care of himself. Let me hope he doesn't come up with another charity to collect money for his heart. Katolubwam should use this time to go for heart surgery, another one if he needs it right now.
Yep.
Yeah, because he can get government free funds. Everyone who is out there, if you're in Uganda, wherever you are, a border rider, if you're a graduate, you have your papers, right now start your mobilization on the village. You do not need money right now.
Yeah.
Start your mobilization. People are going to vote for you. People want change. People want change. And Ugandans have mastered the game of eating money. Give us your money and you vote for someone else. So money does not buy votes. You've seen constituencies where people have lost when they used a lot of money. So start your mobilization, go on ground. Let people understand you, let people know you, who you are, and what you're intending to bring up. Whoever wants the position of Lukwago in a Kampala mayor, start right now. Go through the markets. You do not need money. People want change. This is a time where you're going to see border riders swearing in, where you're going to see people working in markets, where you're going to see graduates who are stranded on the streets without qualification swearing in as members of parliament. People want change, but they want able, determined leaders who are going to speak for them, not leaders who are contented, who sleep in parliament, who are not ready to voice up.
Yes.
We do see, so let's first continue going on. We do see a lot of people coming in. Tell us where you're watching us from. We did see somebody saying they're watching us from Hong Kong. And that's amazing that we managed to have so many people tuning in and commenting and, sharing their opinions on what's going on. Wherever you're watching us, wherever in the world you're watching us, please let us know so that we know where we have managed to at least, reach and, what we've managed to. If we have, wherever you are, we have managed to get to you and you're watching us and you're interacting with us, let us know so we can celebrate with you and say hello, and hopefully we can meet each other soon, or we can talk to each other wherever you are. We have Kathy Tendo saying, right, Sarah, you are right. Right now the space is ripe, change is inevitable, but you can't win with 7 in ballots. So let's see how that's going. Aisha Nisha is saying, Sarah, I really like your thinking capacity. And Robert Sechito is saying, it's really bad. You look at televisions in Uganda after a stressful day, you see fools modeling in parliament like Nankabirwa. Joseph Kaluziza is saying, you're watching us from London. Thank you for tuning in. Please, whoever is watching, take a moment to share this program with your friends, because there's someone somewhere out there who wants to do something for their country, who wants to, take part before they depart this. They want to see what they can do to help Uganda improve. So please share the page, love on us, share the page with whoever you think would really, really enjoy this show and enjoy this forum and enjoy this platform. And I think we've spent so much time.
In a minute, if I can just add slightly on what Sarah said, so that also our brothers and sisters back home, mainly the young people, can get the inspiration that is happening on the Horn of Africa. So the young people in Uganda, mainly, if we can look at the example Bobby Wine has set, I think we can be inspired and we run for different political offices, just like Sarah said, and mainly the women. because the women, you are less represented. So we call upon all the young women who are there, whether you are educated, whether you're a garbage collector, whether you're a doctor, you ended in senior 6, run for office. As Sarah said, it's not all about money. Use your ideas as your capital in order to get in that political office. This is how we can change events.
Yep.
If we are not in office, if we are not sitting on a table, we can't change the status quo. So as Sarah said, let's embrace this change. Again, look at the Horn of Africa. If you go to Rwanda, look at Diana Rwigara. She's fighting dictator Paul Kagame. If you go to South Africa, we have also Julius Malema is doing the same thing. Go to Zimbabwe, you see Chamisa is doing the same thing. He's fighting Mnangagwa and also the former president Robert Mugabe. Then go to Kenya, you see that also MPs that are youth like Owino Babu is also doing the same thing. So as young leaders, let's inspire one another and let's run for offices in order to change the status quo in our country.
And briefly, I'll say this, for people power activists, young people who are really aggressive and want to join the cause and want to join active politics, no matter who you are, I don't care. If the moment you have you can be a cleaner, so long as you have your senior 6 qualifications, the time is now. Start right now. As the people in the diaspora, we will be able to give our finances. We will be able to support
and sponsor
because
anything.
I am telling you, at this point in time, if Bobby Wine just points a finger, everyone that is going to have a backing of Bobby Wine is going to go to Parliament. They are going to be border riders. They are going to be cleaners. They are going to be senior 6 graduates. Yep. Anyone with this backing is going to go to Parliament. But for you, even because Bobby Wine is not going to back up anyone, you need to start your activism now. You need to start your mobilization now. Because if you come and tell him that, you know what, I'm going to stand in this constituency, he's going to send people on ground and say, okay, how is this person performing? You saw what happened in Arua. There's a musician, one of the musicians had even come and met Bobby Wine at his beach. But when Bobby Wine went on ground, he sent his team on ground. Wadri had more support. He had done out of mobilization on ground. So for him, as much as he loved this musician, he's a musician, he wanted to stand as a musician in Parliament, he had to go with the winning team. So mobilize right now. You're on social media, start showing us. Make your flyers right now. Make your flyers and you see...
Brand yourself. You do whatever you have to do.
I've seen some people who are starting up with flyers. They're going to say they're coming in 2021. You need to start right now. You need to start wherever you are and you're interested in causing change and joining active politics. Start right now. Start your flyers. Start your mobilization. For us, when we get information that this person is strong, we will put up the resources. We can send $100, $50, $20, because right now you've never had an active diaspora like you have right now.
But right now,
we are willing to support. You've seen. I've seen instances where people have raised money for people in different situations. I saw this young man, Rasta Tony. People in the diaspora, people all over the world were sending money for his medical condition because he needed skin grafting. So we are willing to send $10, $20, but to that person who is, and you see some of them we are going to monitor them from social media. Here we are going to see this person, we are going to get information, but if we get information, this person is really strong, women, young men, we do not care, but we need voices of reason. We need people who are willing to fight for what is right. We need so many young people. We do not want a parliament of people who sleep. Whether they are opposition members, even if you stand against any opposition member, so long as he has been in parliament for more than 4 times, he needs to be out. And you have so many opposition members who have been in parliament and they are really dormant. Anyone coming from the constituency where Judith Babiria is, please, we need a young person there. I do not care who you are. We are going to support you. Judith Babiria, let her concentrate on her marriage.
Okay.
She came to parliament. She got a man. I think her lifetime goal was to find a man. She came to parliament, found a fellow member of parliament, and because you see what's happening with these people, so many things have been happening in parliament, and you expect people like Babiria to say something, even to women. These people are quiet. So Judith Babiria came
That's true. That's
if
very,
you know
very
her
true.
story, unless you do not know her story, Judith Babiria comes from domestic violence.
She should be advocating so much for all those things.
Domestic violence. She had a husband who used to batter her. Her ex-husband, he used to beat her. Judith Babirye, unless you've not listened to her music, Judith Babirye comes from a musician, very humble. I know most of her songs when she was so humble, when she was poor, when she was broke. She used to sing and the Holy Spirit come into right now if she sings, the Holy Spirit is gonna run away. Because I'm telling you, because she lost the glory of God. She's no longer the Judith Babirye who used to sing and you feel the filled with the Holy Spirit. Any young person, any young woman, we do not care where you are right now, so long as you have the zeal to join politics, we need to unseat. I am willing to support financially someone who is going to support to unseat Judith Babirye, so long as you believe in people power, you want to work for the people, you want to voice up, you want to add your voice to the common person.
All right, so for everyone who's tuning in, thank you so much for loving on the show. We see so many people commenting, so many people actually laughing. Nantanda M. Kasozi is putting smiley faces saying, "There is Sarah Joy." We have so many people live from Turkey, live from Oman. We're seeing so many people in Jordan, Abu Dhabi. Thank you so much for loving us wherever you are. Please continue to share the page. We have so many shows that are airing every weekend, every day on Campfire TV. So please continue to love on us and make sure you follow the page so that you get the daily notifications of the shows that are coming up. Now, before we continue, we are running out of time, but I want us to tackle this one topic. We did have, earlier on, the MTN CEO be deported from Uganda. We don't know the details. I don't know the details, but I am here today trying to find out. And that is why we have Uganda at Crossroads. That's why we started this show, because we wanted ordinary individuals like you who are in, you are working wherever you are, you're in a shift, or petrol station, but you want to know what's happening in Uganda. You want to be involved where you are. You want to know where your money is going. So this program is for you. We are finding out what is really happening, and that's why we have educated activists like Hillary and Sarah who are going to come here and tell you what the juice is. Now, let's find out exactly in a few minutes. Let's find out what happened with the deportation of the MTN CEO. We have seen the news, the headlines, but I'm here. I want someone to talk me through it and tell me what actually happened. Hillary, because Sarah just completed, let's start with you. What happened with the MTN CEO being deported? What led to this incident happening, and what are the repercussions? What do we see happening in the next few days?
Yes, I think it's the time to say that this business of saying Tabin Kwatako should stop right now as Ugandans, because our country is in a total mess.
True.
So whatever actions the government is doing, you see that they are being exposed each and every day, that they can't create a conducive business environment. You know that MTN is a multinational corporation.
It is.
That's been in our country for over a decade. And MTN is holding the biggest percentage of the market share if you look at the telecommunication sector.
Yep.
So it holds about 54.7% of the market share. And again, you see that they've contributed greatly to our gross domestic product. And if the government is treating MTN in the manner that we've seen recently, then it speaks volumes. Because you see, at first they reported 3 foreigners working with that company. I think one was from Rwanda, another one was from France, another one was from Italy. And again, also this Belgian, the chief executive officer who was reported this week. So it tells you something that maybe the government is trying to do some grafty deals in these corporations. For me, I believe that the company refused to do some dirty games that the government wants this company to do. Because there are very many, conspiracy theories that have been said about this deportation. Because one, if you look at the government, it says these people are posing as a threat to our security, of our peace. But they're not telling us how are they posing as a threat to our security. What wrong have they done? So that as Ugandans, we have to know the integrities of their threats to our peace, or the peace that the government claims that they've put. And again, the government is forgetting that peace is beyond absence of war. As Sarah was telling you that if, what is that?
So someone is saying that Nairobi News reported that the CEO was deported because he was getting koozie with Bobby Wine.
Yes, that's conspiracy theory also, because they say one time the CEO was seen dancing on a song of Bobby Wine, Charenga.
Okay.
So I think it nagged the president, because
okay.
the president hates to listen to a song from Bobby Wine. Because right now Bobby Wine is selling like hot cake.
Yep.
If you look at his music.
Anything he endorses sells.
Yes, and that's why the government is doing each and everything possible to ensure that they block his businesses. They want to do what they did to Sulaiman Chigundu
yep.
with his Greenland Bank, because the Lord Mayor gave you, over 10 accounts on how Chigundu was failed by this government of Mr. Museveni.
Yep.
Yet the late Chigundu worked as the governor of Bank of Uganda. In the first year Museveni came into power in 1986, but he treated him like that. He was a great asset we lost. And again, now with this issue of MTN, of course, also, before the show, we were talking about it with Sarah, and we talked about something like maybe the government also wants to ensure that they pass their hidden agendas in this government, because one, you see that recently this government was very stubborn when it came to the issue of a commercial called Bosco.
Oh yes.
Every Ugandan
MTN, I think,
knows that commercial, Bosco. So that advertisement made this government run mad, because everywhere you go, you could hear Bosco. Yep. And now the Ugandans were relating it to the dictator we have in power today, Mr. Museveni, with the actions he was doing and with the actions we are seeing the advancement. So I think that alone could also partly contribute to the deportation of these guys, because maybe there was some pressure from the government to ban, to stop airing out that commercial. But the company was saying it was too late. And again, but on the other hand, as someone who believes in the development of nationals, for me, because right now MTN, they tell you that they've chosen another acting CEO of that company, and right now is a Ugandan. So I would love to see more indigenous Ugandans
taking part in running companies,
the corporations in our country. This is how we are going to develop as a country, because for many years we've seen our foreigners coming from different parts of the world, and they're taking over our country, and we are worried as Ugandans, because if you look at the money that is being repatriated from Uganda to South Africa, where the mother company of MTN is based, you can start raising eyebrows. So I think it's high time to see that we put pressure to ensure that we get more indigenous CEOs in our country.
Yep.
And again, as the government came up with a slogan recently called Bubu, Buy Uganda, Build Uganda, we would like to see that happening each and everywhere, because this is how we are going to develop our country if we are to go to the levels of Singapore or China. Because today, if you're opening up a country, a company in China, you have to include the locals as part of the shareholders.
Yes.
So we'd like to see also Ugandans having shares in this company of MTN. But again, on the other hand, if you look at the multinational companies or corporations, they are looking at the business environment of Uganda as scary. Because if today they've seen that you've deported 5 foreigners from one company, then it's a signal to other companies who are planning to come to our country to boost the business sector, and also to provide employment opportunities to our youth who are unemployed. They may think of options. If Uganda is treating its foreign investors like that, then why can't we take our foreign direct investment to countries like Kenya or Rwanda? Because for them, they have a better or conducive business environment. So the government has to think twice, and they have to be transparent. So for me, I challenge the government to come out and be transparent on this issue. What did these foreigners do? Yep. If they did that, did they give them justice? Because they say that as foreigners, they have justice. So they could, appeal to the courts of law and stop that deportation. So they tried to use their lawyers, but the government said no. They just wrote their deportation orders straight to the airport and out of our country. So they are doing actions we saw in the 1970s, 1971 to 1979, when Idi Amin Dada also
where I was trying to, I was going
there
to
was
ask
the expulsion
that
of Asians from Uganda.
From Uganda.
See, Ugandans at first they were happy that now they own the factories of the Asians in the 70s. But as time went on, when Ugandans were owning these companies, they started collapsing. Reason being that they didn't have the skills to run these companies and to ensure that they grow. So I think this government has learned nothing and it has forgotten nothing from our past history. So I think it's time as Ugandans to look at these things in a broader way. But if we are to analyze this and everything, then we are going to know that this government is no longer working for Ugandans. This government is oppressing each and everyone in different sectors. So you see, every sector is crying. So you wonder which sector is safe, apart from the military. And the military is working for the president.
So
I'm scared.
For all those guys who are tuning in, before we conclude, I did want to give Sarah Joy a chance to end the program with us, to end the program for us. Give me your thoughts in a minute time, and then also handle the topic, handle this situation where we had Brian White, for everyone who I think who read about it or heard about it in whatever you were watching. Brian White held somebody at gunpoint. So we want to know the basis for this. Where does he get the guts to actually go on and do something like this? And it's a public age. This is an age where social media is something that can bring it, whether you have money or not. Social media will probably, you can be rich today, tomorrow you wake up poor. Like, where does he get the backing to actually, where does he get that confidence to put somebody at gunpoint?
I'll start with MTN because Brian White really, it's an irrelevant topic we'll talk about at the end. First of all, I want to warn Ugandans, the behaviors of exactly what the government is doing with MTN is exactly what happened with Crane Bank. So if you have millions of money on mobile money, you better start taking away your money. Because there is no explanation at the deportations of these people. The CEO of MTN was a Ugandan citizen as well. He had dual citizenship.
Dual citizenship.
He is married to Uganda.
Yep.
And no country in the world is gonna deport minus taking you to court to find out. People are taken to prison, they appear in court, then they deport. So you cannot just write letters and deport people like that. But if you see, for me, I'm looking at it as a plan of Museveni also wanting to take over MTN.
Yeah, it's been the biggest
Crane Bank belonged to Sudin, who is a Ugandan. Sudin was born in Uganda. But see how guys acquired Crane Bank. There is no order of sale. There is nothing. Crane Bank was sold to a person and there is no even order of sale. Bagenda sold Crane Bank as an individual. And we do not know how much Crane Bank was sold. We do not know where the money went. There is no detail of anything to do with exactly what transpired with Crane Bank.
No footprint at all.
Nothing. So MTN, if you have your money in there as someone who keeps money on mobile money, you better start waking up right now. You know, I read when I was a student of political education, one of the things that made Amin expel the Asians, one of the things they said, Amin made advances on an Indian woman and she refused.
And she refused.
Yeah, I think an Indian woman looked at Amin and looked at herself and I'm like, no way, I'm not dating this man. Yes, so I'm seeing the same thing as in, I don't know what advances Museveni made to MTN. Or they were telling them to tap into phone calls of opposition leaders and they refused, that they are kicking them away. And if you do not wake up, if you keep your money in there, you better keep small amount of money. People are going to wake up when you've lost all your money on mobile money.
I think we expected this to happen since the point of Bosco started, the whole advert. We expected Museveni to have come in a long time ago.
I've had theories to do with that MTN has been under clearing money that is gotten from was it OTT? I've had such excuses, but Ugandans, you need to wake up right now. You have your money in there. You know, this is not something you should leave. Oh, MTN is not us. You know, I don't care what happens. But if you're transacting on mobile money and people keep money as much as
a lot of money,
10 million, 20 million on an account, you better start withdrawing your money, get a mattress, cut through the mattress and press there your money. Because even banks are becoming unsafe today. Your banks can be closed at any one moment in time, and individuals like Bagenda are liquidating and owning these banks. So you have to be really, really careful, because we do not know any of reasons why these people are being deported, and it could be one of the ways or scams to end up and finding that Uganda now, you know, I don't know who UCC has taken over MTN. You know, we could wake up when UCC is now taking over MTN and owning it. And then after UCC owning it, they can sell it to any other person. So many people lost money in Crane Bank.
In Crane Bank, yeah.
People who were slow you know, when the rumors started of Crane Bank, some people were slow to take out their money. When it was taken over, people lost their money up to this time. All accounts were frozen. So if you have money on mobile money, I'm not talking of 1,000, 2,000, some big money, you better get away your money before these vampires. We are going in 2021. The government does not have money. You see the amount of money State House uses on a daily basis. They do not have money.
Throws out and just keep, you know.
Exactly.
Hush money.
They are thinking now, they are looking at you Ugandans who keep money on mobile money, and you have floating accounts with millions and billions of money. They are going to come for that money. This government has completely no shame. But
and you can't even request it, because you will never get it back.
But you see, the problem is when you're claiming you want investors to come in the country, yet you're busy terrorizing the investors that have been in the country for MTN has been in the country for over 20 years. So if you're terrorizing the investors that have been in the country for a long period of time, and you want to attract new investors, I do not know who is foolish enough to want to come and invest their money in Uganda.
When you're harassing them.
First of all, you've not come out openly to explain to us
what
exactly happened. Because you've left Ugandans we are wondering. That's why we have all these conspiracy theories. For also other individuals, other countries, or other companies that want to come and invest in Uganda, if you do not give them the right reasons why you're importing other investors, you're deporting other investors who want to come and invest in a country like that. So if you have money in MTN, take out your money right now. MTN could be becoming like Crane Bank that was acquired by DFCU, and then you're gonna lose your money.
It's like a domino effect. Once something like this starts happening,
you're going to wake up when MTN is now owned by UCC, and UCC is Museveni. So you better wake up, start taking out your money.
All right.
This is a game that is coming on. We talked about the issue as listening to an interview of this young man who went to demand his money, who sold tents to Brian White. And a lot of things were done, but for me what caught my mind was the statements from Brian White, where he mentions that he's from State House. In fact, I've seen the guy and his lawyers have opened up a case in the court martial to find out which position. Is he a lieutenant? Is he a colonel? Is he a general in the army, to hold them under captivity? And he's wearing army uniforms. He has soldiers that he gives orders to do all these atrocities. But I want to warn Brian White. You know, I do not know these guys. First of all, I don't know where these Bafere get the strength and balls to want to mistreat Ugandans. Everyone knows Brian White's man has not come from right hands. Everyone knows he's one of the con men. But he has forgotten. Now, one of the, you know, when you see people like, what is his name? People like Mbuga. He was building a hospital, he had trucks, he had this, he had this. If you see people like that going down, who do you think you are? If you see people like Chitata coming down.
Oh yeah, that's...
Chitata, I keep telling people, Chitata had more powers than Brian White.
Oh yeah.
Chitata had more powers. I have seen Chitata with a gun, with my own eyes. I have been to Chitata's office. Because they had captured motorcycles that belonged to someone I knew. So I went to see him. I've seen Chitata the way he used to behave. We used to walk on eggshells going into his office. But to see people like Chirumira Brian holding fellow Ugandans at hostage just because he has policemen around him or army guys around him, for him to start behaving that is in State House. I feel sorry for this Ugandan. Because I'm telling you, those people are not going to fit in Uganda. Because first of all, even before change comes, the same government is trying to lie in bed with is going to discipline him. Because he's not the first. Chitata was in bed with Museveni. Chitata used to play from State House. He used to go and play football in State House. He used to have Museveni's phone at speed dial. But for you, Brian White, for you to keep a blind eye, and you do not want to learn from the happenings of what is happening in the country, to start terrorizing fellow Ugandans. You are a rich man, as you claim. Pay the guy his money. The guy is only demanding 135 million. What is 135 million to a billionaire? I had people calling him a billionaire. Pay the guy his money. You took his goods in December. You took his goods 4 months ago. Whether you used them or not, and you signed on the pro forma invoice that you received the goods, pay the guy his money. Why are you terrorizing? I had the guy's story and I had to cry. There were 4 people. They were held at gunpoint, no shoes, no food, when they had gone to demand their money. Who is Brian White? Who is this Mufere con man terrorizing Ugandans to this extent? It is really, really absurd that the government of Uganda is seeing its citizens. A young man who is having his own business, trying to, employ. This is a young man, he has a company that makes sense and is employing Ugandans. And is totally treated like shit in his own country. And you're defending, you're giving security to Brian White, who even the government cannot explain his source of income. A guy who could not even pay for a beer in a bar 3-4 years ago, he's now coming up, throwing money around, has money, and you cannot even explain. And I'm telling you, this goes back to, I am bitter at this because we have lots of con men in Uganda who are misleading the young generation. Young people feel, I can get money, they throw around money, and then tomorrow we see them coming down. And, and I'm telling you, when they have all this money, they are motivational speakers. You should see their posts. You're telling people to work hard when you cannot explain to them your source of income. Why don't you tell them how to steal? Because who wants to work hard? Some people are really working hard, but they cannot get this money.
They don't even get,
They're working hard January to December, but they're not saving this money. Most of these are motivational speakers. Their posts are talking about working hard, doing this.
Don't give up.
You didn't even work hard. You stole the money. Why don't you just tell them, steal and get rich? It is now that, heavens open laws, and now we know how they got their money. But 5 months ago, they were writing motivation speeches and message on social media, work hard, this is how you get money. And I used to see Muga doing live videos. Man, sometimes I would be like, oh, this guy, where did he get the money? He would talk about working hard. I guess many people would get out of their beds to go and work hard. But the guy wouldn't tell people that he's just stealing the money. It really hurts and it disturbs, it's really, really very annoying for these guys to continue behaving that way and again motivate people to work hard. Don't tell them to work hard. Tell them to work smart. Tell them to work smart. But for people like Brian White who are going to continue terrorizing Ugandans and holding them at gunpoint and claiming yourself that for you work for State House, you have orders from above, just know your days are numbered. Just know your days are numbered. You are not going to treat Ugandans like this. Museveni could be giving you an umbrella right now.
Backup, yeah.
But tomorrow,
every dog has its day.
Every dog has its day. And I'm telling you, the way people are reacting to Chitata, the way Ugandans do not even care if Chitata is shot by gun or Chitata is put in prison for life, that's the same thing that is going to happen to Brian White.
So everyone watching, thank you.
Can I just say, just a minute, just talk
just
about
a second,
because the gun issue. You see, I think the challenge begins from the program of the government. The Chankwan's program. I don't know if you've ever been to Chankwan's. Any of you has ever been to Chankwan's for the training. I so happened to go there in 2013, just after my university. So we went as a former university leaders. They trained us, but there is a lot of brainwashing in the Chankwan's. And they train you how to use the gun. So that's why you're going to see that there are lots of guns today, each and everywhere in the country, that even people don't have licenses to carry these guns. And now insecurities are happening each and everywhere. So today you may find that Brian White maybe is having a gun and the government doesn't know where he bought it from. Maybe the gun is from Juba in Sudan, in South Sudan. With the information that is coming today, they tell us that very many people from South Sudan, they have guns in their houses they've bought in Kampala. And the government is not aware of these guns. So today, anyone can put you on a gunpoint, even if you're going back at home. maybe at 7 p.m., someone's going to put you on a gunpoint. And they'll even kill you in different ways. Look at what Hussein Chanjo is going through right now. This government of Mr. Museveni tried to poison him. And the guy is, fighting for his life. He went for a treatment in India. But we don't know if he's going to survive or not. So as Ugandans, let's just keep Hussein Chanjo in prayers, because his situation is so worrying. And again, if they tell you how this guy was poisoned, someone put poison on his mic in Parliament, because Hussein Chanjo was on a security committee in Parliament. So if you question the government about the military hardware, about their supplementary budgets of the military, then they will be asking you, who are you to question us? Why can't you give us the money to buy the military hardware we want? So that's how Hussein Chanjo found himself poisoned. And so as Sarah has told you, and again, this government has set a precedent of impunity, because anyone who is affiliated to this government, they can put you on gunpoint. If you look at the way, the manner in which Kasirye Gwanga is behaving, because very many Ugandans are happy about his actions, but it's worrying.
I know.
At the first incident, the guy burnt someone's truck. But this guy was just hired. He was not the person who was buying the land. So why do you take the laws in your hands? Then the second incident, he almost killed Catherine Kusasira. People were still happy. But wait for the time when it comes to your relative, or to your father, or to your mother. That's when you know that this impunity is not called for. And the government should come out immediately to condemn such actions. Because if you look at what happened with Kasirye Gwanga, the military has never given us any position on what they will be doing. So we want the military spokesperson to come out and tell us, what is it so hard for this government to bring Kasirye Gwanga before the military, the court martial, to account for his actions? If they can't do such a thing, then the government has set a precedent, and as Ugandans, we have to act now and remove Mr. Museveni out of power with our slogan, people power, our power.
All right, for everyone who has been watching us, thank you so much. I know there were so many comments that I could have read, but I didn't have the time. The conversation was just getting too juicy, so I couldn't read all your conversations, and I do apologize. But we do see your comments. We take them to heart. We love that you guys are interacting with us, keeping us in tune with everything that you guys are saying. We love the fact that you guys can air out your views. You can send your love to any of the co-hosts that I always have every weekend. We thank you so much for always tuning in and loving on the show, and always being with us every single weekend. So continue to spread the love, continue to share the page, follow us on Facebook. Let us know what we can do better. Let us know in what way we can get better, what way we can bring all these topics to you. If you have any ideas and we can implement them, please let us know. Don't feel shy about it. I've not read anything online, but I want to thank you so much. Ellen Prezo, thank you so much for always being online. Agaba Francis, I see you're taking a lot of fire from everyone who's online, but thank you for your comments. Simon Bogede, thank you as well. Simba Joseph, thank you. Princess Frida, who has been commenting a lot, thank you as well for the support. Junju Najubi, thank you so much for your comments. I'm seeing a lot of you guys' feedback online. I couldn't read all the questions, but we're going to take time. My co-hosts Hillary and Sarah will always take time to read your comments, reply where necessary, and then love on you guys as well. For now, I want to thank you for tuning into the Uganda at Crossroads show. Please continue to support us. The next program that's coming up is going to be with your favorite singer, Princess Frida. You guys love how you've been watching her on Love, Sex and Money, and you're about to watch her again because she's talking about Valentine's. So after this show ends, please stay online. Within minutes, we're going to send the next show. Stay online and watch her in Love, Sex and Money. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be enjoyable. You guys are going to learn a lot. You're going to have fun. You're going to, get educated, informed. It's going to be an amazing show. But for now, I will leave you with hopes and dreams. I hope you guys are doing well in the next few weeks. Please be safe. Drink responsibly. The weekend is here. Drink responsibly. Get your undagamuntu. Please, twebereremu. All those slogans that are going on in Uganda. Please, do all that and enjoy yourself. We'll see you next weekend on Uganda Crossroads. I've been your host, Alex with the Mostest. Do not leave this station. Make sure you're tuning in for the next show that's coming right up. I'll see you next weekend. Bye. Have a lovely day.